welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is going to be a reading for Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising positions for the new moon in Libra happening on October the 6th. Now, this reading should serve you for the week. The energy from the new moon won't just be effective for that day, so you might even be feeling it now. Now, this new moon is very interesting because it's happening at a time when the sun is already in Libra and Mercury is in retrograde. So you've got the sun and the moon in Libra, which creates a powerful alignment of the internal and the external self sort of having to align with one another and be in balance, which is interesting. And then the Mercury in retrograde is really going to try and push us at looking at the past, okay, and sort of looking at things that have already happened. So it's sort of like a movie of the past playing, and we could get caught up in it. So it's important to sort of set your sights on your goals, right? What foundation do you want to create for the future that you envision, as opposed to sort of focusing on the past? But you know, there might be some things in the past that are coming up because they need healing. Maybe there's some confusion, maybe some closure is needed. Maybe you need to finally let go of some things if you're waiting and hanging on. Okay, so Leo, let's find out here what is the major theme for you as you go through your week with this new energy, or the new moon energy. Oops. Okay, ooh, 4 cards, okay. All right, so we see emotions are running high, your hard work is paying off, and a fiery climax approaches. But you know what? I love this card, this other one you got, where nothing will come of this situation. So some part of the storyline here for you is not serving you. This card always makes me think that some part of your perspective or some part of your action, something you're thinking, doing, or saying isn't going to serve you, okay? And I think it's this emotions are running high. Leo, as long as your emotions are running high, nothing will come of this. Okay, you have a fiery climax that is approaching, and your hard work is about to pay off. So I feel like that's where you need to focus. Once you start to run into these high emotions, right? Your emotions running high, that's when you're going to notice that the brakes go on. You're not going to be able to see a lot of movement while you're highly emotional. This is a time where your hard work is paying off. So we see the new moon in Capricorn, a full moon in Aries, a super moon, and then the void, of course, moon. So this is an interesting time here for Leo, where, you know, you got to get those emotions to a place where they're not running the show. The emotions are running high right now, and that's going to be an energy that doesn't allow things to move forward for you. Your hard work is paying off, though. So whatever you're working on, keep at it. Don't let the emotions sort of distract you or detract you, you know, like to take you away from things. Okay, so if that's sort of the major theme that you're working on here, let's see what energies will support Leo as they go through their week with this new moon in Libra, sort of bringing out the high emotions, which we can expect from this new moon. Lots of emotions running high, and I just feel like, you know, we have to express those emotions, but if we let them drive, it's like gonna be crazy. So focus, yeah, exactly. Examine your priorities, place attention with intention. Aim for your highest potential, be strong in your purpose. You will achieve your goals. Interesting. So yes, focus as opposed to the high emotions running the show. Very interesting messaging here for you, Leo, as you move through your week. I wonder what it is that you're working on that's going to sort of reach a climax. And these high emotions, yeah, nothing will come of this if it's being driven just by the emotions. Some hard work needs and focus. Right? You need to look at priorities, and you need to focus your attention. Like I was saying in the beginning, setting your sights on your goals to create a solid foundation going forward, and to keep going. You know, keep going. Be strong in your purpose and focus on those goals. You know, whatever you give attention to is where the energy flows, right? Oops. Okay, let's get started here with the tarot and see what the rest of the story is here for Leo as they move through their week. Yeah, the high emotions are playing a trick with your confidence. You know you have the mental sharpness for this situation, but you're starting to doubt your will. You know you have the intellect, but those high emotions are getting you distracted here, and you're starting to doubt your confidence. And as a result, you're starting to resist the shift instead of focusing on it, right? You could be resisting the very thing that could come and suddenly change everything, right? The catalyst. This is, I always think of the Knight of Swords as sort of like he brings the tower to its knees. You can see the tower burning there in the corner of the card. And so it's like this knight brings in the energy of sudden shifts, but these shifts move mountains. These shifts are critical to our goal being manifested. But you're resisting it because it's going to involve a life change. And you're feeling a little bit like your world just got turned upside down. And so you're resisting it. You're resisting the change to your life pattern getting disrupted, and you're resisting the next cycle of your life. You don't feel like you have the confidence to overcome this, but you do feel like you have the mental ability to deal with it, but not the emotional or confidence ability. It's like you feel strong in your ability to think about this in a new way. And you feel confident in your ability to see the logic behind it. It's almost like this shift is something that's inevitable. And so logically you understand that it's inevitable. Logically you're no problem. You get it logically. But emotionally it's hitting your confidence and it's hitting your will. You don't know if you have the will to keep going. My goodness. But your hard work is paying off. So I wonder why you feel that way. Perhaps it's really a challenging time right now, right? Perhaps this idea that you need to defend your will it's hard. It's making you feel like you're not sure if you can defend it, in a sense. You know what I mean? It's like you feel like you're not sure if you have the ability to balance this, and you're wondering if your hard efforts will actually even do anything. You're doubting yourself here, Leo. I feel like your inner dialogue is not really feeling balanced. Your inner self is saying, I'm out of balance, I'm self-sacrificing, I'm giving more than I'm receiving, or I'm receiving more than I'm giving. Something's out of balance here in terms of resources, and you can feel it. You can feel that resource difference. You can feel the difference in your sense of security, okay? Your emotions might be running high because as this situation comes to a climax, you're starting to feel it in your I belong statements, right? Your grounding has been affected. You know, you're feeling very ungrounded and unbalanced. Although you wear the mask of someone who's very patient, temperate, and someone who sort of understands that things happen in their own time, which is interesting because on the inside, that's not how you're feeling. I feel like Leo's wearing a mask because you don't want the rest of the world to know just how much of a struggle this has been. And it's a struggle for you in the sense of your physical self, your material self, right? As expressed by the 6 and the 3 of Pentacles here. It's your physical self that I really feel like it's the part of you that is like gonna have to experience maybe a little bit of disruption in its normal pattern. And as long as you feel emotional about that, nothing will come of it. Nothing will come of it. But there is something coming to a conclusion, and it's going to change your life pattern enough that you're like, I get it logically. I understand this has to happen, but I don't think I can deal with it. You know, that's almost it in a nutshell. I don't think I can deal with it. And yet on the outside of yourself, you might be telling people that, no, I'm good. I'm fine. I understand these things happen. This was going to happen eventually, and it was divine timing. And, it's like you're saying one thing and you feel something else completely, Leo. So you might be having to really, really work towards balance. And this idea here that focus is going to help you. It's going to help you examine your priorities, because like I said, this seems to be affecting your confidence, because it's going to impact your sense of security in your mind. So perhaps there is something else that you need to make a priority. I see the Ace of Cups at the end of your spread here, which suggests to me that by the time you sort of make it through this timeline, you are going to be feeling sort of a new emotional transcendent sort of feeling, where you're no longer feeling sacrifice, and you sort of feel free to birth a new emotional pathway forward. So, Leo, it's almost like right now you're living in a situation where it's almost like if you don't wear that mask that says everything's okay, that's going to disturb things too much for you. So to balance things in your own mind, it's like you have one truth in your head and one truth that you express, if that makes any sense. Like you have an inner dialogue that's saying, I feel like I'm completely sacrificing myself. But then your outer expression is one of someone who's sort of very patiently riding the now, not being impatient, not rushing, not forcing. But it's interesting. I feel like that's the mask you're wearing, because deep within you, there's a lot of resistance and a lack of confidence, and a feeling where you're being really encouraged to focus on your goal again. Because I think you're going to get it. But when it comes, it might come in a way that ends up triggering these emotions, as opposed to you feeling that transformation that you'll feel eventually. You will feel it, but I think initially it's going to feel like you're out of balance, and that you don't know how to deal with this situation now that it's here. Very interesting. Now, let's see what the final guidance is here for Leo as they move through this challenging time of obstacles, where they seem to understand things logically, but emotionally it's a real struggle to be balanced. Emotionally, it's the emotions that are getting you this week, Leo, which makes sense. It's a very emotional new moon. Lots of old wounds coming up to trigger those emotions. So you're not alone there. Okay, let's have a look here. You got 3 cards. Self-acceptance, really important, because we see the Strength card in reverse here. So self-acceptance says nothing is more exhausting than the endless working on yourself. When you offer your whole being fully to love, self-acceptance arises spontaneously. That's beautiful. May I rest in oneness, dear divine. You got striving. Again, your hard work is paying off. So we see here, eventually the individual ego's drive to make things happen falls away, replaced with the relaxed, trusting openness to answers as they arise. Thank you, divine, for letting me move with the flow. Exactly. Right? So the emotional, scary things that our ego says to us, that are causing your emotions to run into high gear like that, it's almost like you just have to sort of strive to go with the flow and say to your mind that you've got this. It's like you have to change that inner dialogue. Instead of saying, I can't do this, and saying, I'm completely out of balance and in self-sacrifice mode, then strive for some self-acceptance here, where you don't say those inner dialogue things to yourself anymore. Maybe the messages that you start to say to yourself are going to be ones of encouraging, because your hard work is paying off. So this striving for self-acceptance is going to be really important. And positivity here. is the third card you got. So it says, if you can find one thing to be grateful for, it will restore you to the light. Please let me always feel grateful for something, even a tiny thing, even in the hardest situations. I think you're going to go through a challenge here, my dear Leo, that's going to create the environment in which you doubt yourself. But that I feel like through self-acceptance and through striving towards that positivity to be grateful and to find something where you can sort of say thank you for this experience because it's teaching me something important. And it could be just to fully love yourself. You know, self-acceptance could be the lesson here. And sometimes to get to the place of self-love and self-acceptance, we have to go through a path that teaches us that lesson through challenge. You know what I mean, Leo? It's interesting how things work in this universe, you know? Wow. Well, I'm going to leave it at that for you, my dear Leo. You hang in there and try to regain your strength, because this strength card represents you. So if it's in reverse, and so is your world card here, that says to me truly that the balance within Leo is needing focus, which came through as your guidance as well. Right? So focusing back on your goals is going to re-ground you. I feel like that will ground you again, Leo. Okay, I'm really going to leave it at that now. If this has resonated for you and you'd like a personal reading, my email's in the description below. And as always, thank you so much for liking, subscribing, and watching. And we'll see you again very soon for another reading. Sending you lots of love and light, my friends. Have a wonderful week.